On August 15, 1977, a telescope in Ohio detected something that should not have been there. It was a powerful and unusually narrow radio signal coming from the direction of Sagittarius. It grew stronger, reached a peak, and then vanished exactly 72 seconds later. When astronomer Jerry Amon discovered the data, he circled 6 strange characters and wrote one word beside them: "Wow." Scientists searched for the signal again. It never returned. Was it interference? An incredibly rare cosmic event? Or the closest humanity has ever come to detecting an alien transmission? For 72 seconds, something in space appeared to call our attention. Almost 50 years later, we still don't know exactly what it was. At the Ohio State University Radio Observatory, an unusual instrument named Big Ear scanned the cosmos. Designed by John Krause, this massive telescope remained fixed to the ground, unlike typical steerable radio dishes. Instead, the system relied entirely on Earth's rotation to sweep different regions of the sky across its observing beam. No one sat with headphones listening for live transmissions. The entire process was automated, printing data directly onto continuous rolls of paper. Searching for aliens was less like Star Wars and more like checking a very long spreadsheet filled with static. Normally, these confirmed observations recorded only natural cosmic noise, background emissions, or fleeting terrestrial interference. But on the night of August 15, 1977, the automated printer registered an anomalous entry that shattered the quiet routine. On August 19, 1977, volunteer astronomer Jerry Amon sat down to review the printed paper sheets from a few nights prior. There was no audio recording to play back, only columns of alphanumeric characters. His eyes stopped at a specific sequence in channel 2, 6EQUJ5. These characters were relative signal strength measurements, not a coded message. Each of the 6 characters represented a 12-second block of time. The sequence charted a clear progression. 6 marked the signal's initial appearance, E showed it growing stronger, Q tracked its continued rise, and U marked the peak of intensity, over 30 times the background noise. Then J began the steady decline, and 5 marked the final fade. Together, these readings spanned 72 seconds, the exact window a single point in space would take to drift across Big Ear's fixed beam as the Earth rotated, suggesting a distant source. Beside the sequence, Amon wrote a single word: "Wow." The signal stood out because of its immense strength and narrow focus, packed into a single channel less than 10 kHz wide. While natural cosmic radio sources are typically broad and noisy, this spike was sharp, resting near 1,420 MHz. This is the frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the cosmos. For researchers, choosing this frequency would be like selecting the largest and most obvious landmark in the galaxy as a meeting point. Yet, because hydrogen is everywhere, rare natural events can also trigger emissions here. The frequency does not guarantee an intelligent origin. The telescope's physical design also prevented astronomers from pinpointing the exact source. The signal originated from the broad direction of Sagittarius near the galactic plane, but Big Ear's dual horns left 2 separate candidate regions rather than a single star or planet. Big Ear scanned the cosmos with 2 separate feed horns positioned side by side. As the Earth rotated, any steady radio source in the sky would drift through the first horn's field of view, and then, roughly 3 minutes later, pass through the second. A continuous, ongoing transmission from the cosmos should have left 2 distinct marks on the computer printout, a double signature separated by a brief, predictable silence. Instead, the paper roll registered only a single 72-second spike. The second horn recorded absolutely nothing. This single horn detection presents a critical puzzle. Either the source was a transient beam that shut off before the second horn could sweep over it, or the signal was an intrinsically short-lived cosmic event. But the surviving printout lacks the system data needed to identify which horn actually captured the burst. Because of this engineering limitation, astronomers could never determine the signal's true right ascension. They were left with 2 entirely separate candidate regions in the constellation Sagittarius, divided by a gap of several arc minutes on the sky. Over the following decades, astronomers pointed some of the world's most powerful telescopes at both target regions. High-sensitivity follow-up programs using the Very Large Array, the Green Bank Telescope, and the Allen Telescope Array systematically swept the coordinates, hoping to catch a recurrence. But the search areas remained completely quiet. No instrument has ever conclusively detected the same signal again at its original strength and frequency. In science, one mysterious signal gives you an incredible story. A repeating signal gives you evidence. If the WOW signal was indeed a broadcast from an advanced civilization, it met nearly every benchmark researchers had established for a genuine technosignature. SETI pioneer Jill Tarter interpreted the signal as a prime candidate for an intentional extraterrestrial transmission. It possessed immense power, an incredibly narrow bandwidth, and a beam-like intensity pattern that perfectly matched a distant point source. Because it failed to behave like ordinary local interference, which typically floods both of the telescope's receiver horns or bleeds across multiple channels, scientific interest persisted. This represents an interpretation rather than a confirmed identification. The surviving physical record contains absolutely no payload. There is no decodable message, no hidden voice, no embedded image, and no mathematical sequence. It exists only as a single, powerful spike of energy recorded at one frequency. No scientific body, including NASA, has ever declared the event to be of alien origin. In radio astronomy, a single event candidate without recurrence or decodable information is simply insufficient to prove the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence. The candidate designation meant the signal was worthy of rigorous study, but it was never proof of an engineered technology. It remains an unresolved, hypothetical possibility, leaving us to weigh other cosmic explanations. 4 distinct cosmic proposals attempt to resolve the mystery, but each remains an unverified theory. Hypothesis not proven: human interference from a ground transmitter, satellite, aircraft system, or reflected signal. While the clean rise and fall profile makes simple local interference less convincing, unusual or accidental interference remains a possibility that cannot be ignored. Hypothesis not proven: Antonio Paris's cometary hydrogen cloud proposal. This suggests passing comets released hydrogen that emitted the burst. However, astronomers raised objections concerning the comet's orbital placement and the physical plausibility of the required emission, leaving the proposal disputed. Hypothesis not proven: Abel Mendez and his collaborators' transient hydrogen cloud explanation involving an energetic object like a magnetar. Imagine a dark cloud in space being illuminated by a cosmic camera flash, but instead of visible light, it suddenly shines in radio waves. This brief energetic event potentially accounts for the signal's strength, narrowness, and lack of recurrence, but no direct observation links a specific magnetar flare to the 1977 event. Hypothesis not proven: an artificial transmission from technology beyond Earth. An engineered origin remains possible due to the signal's unusual properties, but one short detection without recurrence or encoded information is unable to prove extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal remains entirely unresolved. The 1977 telescope recorded only a simplified paper printout, not the raw digital data. This left modern researchers without fine timing, spectral details, polarization data, or independent confirmation. Today, a network of synchronized observatories could instantly verify a signal's direction, polarization, and frequency drift while ruling out local interference. But Big Ear can never look again. The university dismantled the structure in May 1998, selling the land to developers. One of humanity's most famous searches for alien life was replaced partly by people searching for golf balls. The cosmos remains silent, leaving 6 EQUJ-5 a solitary whisper in the dark. Was it a stellar flare or a fleeting beacon? What do you think created the WOW signal? Share your theory below. Subscribe to Astral Nexus HQ for more strange mysteries from science and space.